Needs analysis. A needs analysis is an important step in course design, and it is the hallmark of any business English course which falls under the umbrella of ESP. The aim of a needs analysis is to get information about the needs of a learner. So decisions regarding the syllabus, what type of syllabus would it be, what would be the aims and objectives of the syllabus, that would be taken at this point. Then what type of materials would be selected and developed for the course, what would be the methodology which would be used, whether it is going to be a language-centered methodology, a learner-centered methodology, or a skills and strategies methodology. And then what would be the evaluation process of this course. All of all the decisions regarding these aspects of a course design are going to be based upon this initial needs analysis which is carried out. So the aim of a needs analysis is to find out basically two things. First is that it has to find out about the target communication situation and the styles of discourse which the learners will engage with. So the needs analysis will try to look at the different types of discourses which the learners face in their respective areas, whether they are meetings, negotiations, giving presentations, and so on. And then the second part of a needs analysis is that the current communication competence of the learners has to be found out. This is going to point out the gap which is there between the target communication situation and the current communication competence of the learners. And this gap is going to be, in fact, that area which the needs analysis is going to cover in the course design. So there are various charts and questionnaires and forms which are available commercially or which are given by schools to the teachers, to trainers, to find out this information which is needed for the needs analysis, which can be taken through these charts and through interviews and observations as well. So basically they ask the learners various things about themselves and about what they perceive their needs to be, and according to that then the course is designed. So the questionnaires have got various advantages. First of all, they are very easy to administer and very easy to use. They can quickly be run off the photocopier shortly before the start of a class. And then they do offer useful insights into where the students' proficiency in the target language stands at that time. However, they have their disadvantages as well. And the disadvantage, the major one, is that these questionnaires, they are usually not in the learner's own language. They are in English, which is the language which the students are supposed to be learning. So because of this reason, the teacher perhaps might not be able to get a very clear or a accurate picture about the students' proficiency in the target language. Okay, although they can be translated and adapted, okay, according to the needs of the class or the situation or that particular group of potential learners. But still, they rarely give the full information. They are brief, they are standardized, they might be useful in some cases, but they have to be supplemented with other things, like, for example, observation. Observation is a very good tool for the teacher to carry out a needs analysis. Observation can be carried out during the lessons or through interviews. And if the teacher or the trainer is lucky enough to get direct access to the workplace, to the classroom, or to the workplace of the employees who are going to be undertaking the course. However, observation too has got its own disadvantages, and the first one is that you have to plan it really very, very carefully. You have to first of all, you have to be very clear about what you are trying to find out through this observation, whether you are trying to find out about the pragmatic competency of the learners, whether you're trying to find out about their grammatical competency or intercultural competency and so on. Then you need to have a thorough knowledge about the company, its functions, its products, its hierarchy. So a lot of research has to go into that. Then the observer, the teacher or the trainer, he has to be well equipped. He has to make sure that he has got the adequate devices, the audio devices, so that he can carry out any recording if the need arises. Then time has to be carefully coordinated with the learners. The time should be selected in which there is some real communication activity going on. Because just sitting and observing will not be very helpful. The communication activity like a meeting or a presentation, that would be the ideal time where the observer should be present. If there is a request for a written material, that should be done beforehand. And alternative data can also be used. For example, if you feel that observation is not very useful, then if the number of the learners is less, then you can even interview them and then gather the useful required data. The issue of confidentiality is always there. People do not want to talk in front of an outsider, a stranger, and there would be other issues of confidentiality when you are talking to customers. Okay, so here the use of a structured questionnaire is also recommended. So a structured questionnaire would look something like this, in which you ask about the name, the company, the department, contact, so all, and this will also be helpful for the teacher to carry out his need analysis. During the interviews, detailed questions can be asked, depending on the linguistic competency of the interviewer and the interview. These could be in English or in any other agreed language. These give very useful insights to the teacher or the trainer to design classroom activities and to diagnose the target language, what is the requirement of the learners in the actual workplace. So if it is an interview about the meeting, then the teacher should know that he wants to know about the following: the things that were discussed in the meeting, the relationship of the people and the number of the people who attended this meeting, then the agendas, what was the agenda of the meeting, how much time was spent in the meeting, and then what type of discourse was used, whether it was formal or informal, and whether there were any native speakers present or what other nationalities were there, and what were the job types, where were the people placed in the hierarchy of the company. And in face-to-face interaction or while observing a meeting, answers to the following questions can also be sought through this questionnaire, in which also the teacher can keep on observing and writing down. So communication needs analysis helps to point out the areas and styles of discourse which learners will face in the workplace, and information which has been obtained during the interviews and observation and the questionnaires can be used in a needs analysis to point out the gaps which are there and the communication needs which are there for the learners.